There are way more types of popsicles than you think. We're not just talking about the ones you grabbed from the ice cream truck as a kid. From creamy Mexican paletas to high-protein bars marketed at Gym Bros. The frozen treat on a stick world is massive. And here's the thing most people don't realize. Almost every culture on Earth has its own version of the popsicle. Different shapes, different textures, different rules about what counts as a frozen treat on a stick. Some don't even use a stick. Some use a plastic bag. One of them uses a whole copper bowl to make it. So today, we're breaking down every type of popsicle that exists. The standard fruit popsicle. This is ground zero. Water, sugar, fruit flavoring, frozen on a stick. Simple as it gets. The original popsicle was actually invented by accident in 1905. An 11-year-old kid named Frank Epperson left a cup of soda with a stirring stick outside overnight. It froze. He called it the Epsicle. His kids later renamed it to Popsicle. But here's a detail most people miss. Epperson didn't patent it until 1924, almost 20 years later, and he eventually sold the rights to a company that turned it into the brand we know today. So the popsicle we grew up with. It started as a kid's accident and became a billion-dollar industry. It's not complex, it's not trying to be. It's sweet, it's icy, and it melts down your hand in about 90 seconds. This is the foundation of everything else on this list. The twin popsicle. Same concept as the fruit pop, but it's two sticks fused together so you can snap it in half and share with someone. Let's be real, eat both halves yourself. The texture is slightly different from a regular fruit pop. You'll find these in pretty much every gas station freezer on the planet. And there's actually a reason the snap is never clean. The freezing process creates an uneven seam down the middle, so one side always ends up bigger than the other. If you've ever fought with a sibling over who gets the bigger half, now you know why. The communal popsicle, built for sharing, almost always eaten alone. The fudge bar popsicle. Now we shift into creamy territory. A fudge bar is basically a chocolate popsicle with dairy in the mix. Milk, cocoa, and sugar. It's smoother than a fruit pop, more like frozen chocolate pudding on a stick. That rich coating it leaves on your tongue? That's the dairy doing its job. It's heavier and more filling than any fruit pop. The Popsicle brand has actually been around since 1929. It was originally marketed during the Great Depression as a cheap chocolate treat, and it worked. People couldn't afford fancy desserts, so a 5-cent chocolate pop on a stick became the move. Honestly, it's one of the most underrated classics in the popsicle world. The creamsicle popsicle. A creamsicle is not just a name, it's a specific structure. You've got a vanilla ice cream core wrapped in a fruit-flavored ice shell. 2 layers, 2 textures. That combo of tangy orange ice on the outside and smooth vanilla on the inside is iconic. And there's actually an important difference between a creamsicle and a dreamsicle. A lot of people use the names interchangeably, but technically a creamsicle uses ice cream in the center, while a dreamsicle uses ice milk, which is lighter and less rich. Most people have never tasted a real dreamsicle and don't even know the distinction exists. Think of it like an orange float, but frozen on a stick. Architecture matters in popsicles, and the creamsicle is proof. The ice cream bar popsicle. This is where things get premium. A full ice cream center, not ice, not sorbet, dipped in a hard chocolate shell. Think Magnum bars, Häagen-Dazs bars, that whole tier. The snap of that chocolate coating when you bite through it is half the experience. And the ratio of shell to cream is everything. Too thin and it's just ice cream, too thick and the chocolate overpowers it. When it's right, this is the luxury popsicle. What's interesting is that the chocolate shell isn't actually regular chocolate. It's a compound coating made with cocoa and vegetable oil instead of cocoa butter. That's what gives it that specific snap and keeps it from melting the second you touch it. Real chocolate would get soft way too fast. so the shell is engineered for that exact cracking moment. The yogurt popsicle. Yogurt pops split the difference between healthy and indulgent. They're tangy, creamy, and usually marketed with words like probiotic and real fruit. They're lighter than ice cream bars, but creamier than fruit pops. The tartness actually works. It doesn't taste like it's pretending to be dessert. It's the one you eat when you want to feel responsible, and surprisingly, it's actually good. Now, whether the probiotics actually survive the freezing process is a whole debate. Some studies say yes, some say the cultures take a hit. But the flavor profile, that tangy, slightly sour creaminess, is what makes these stand on their own regardless. They're not trying to be ice cream, they're doing their own thing. The banana popsicle. This one deserves its own spot. A frozen banana dipped in chocolate, sometimes rolled in nuts or sprinkles. It's technically a popsicle, frozen on a stick, eaten the same way, but it uses whole fruit as the base instead of a flavored liquid. The texture is completely different from everything else on this list. You've got that dense, almost caramel-like sweetness of a frozen banana, the snap of the chocolate coating, and then the crunch of whatever topping is on the outside. Ice candy popsicle. Ice candy from the Philippines is different from anything else on this list. It comes in a long, thin plastic bag. No stick at all. You bite the corner off and push the frozen mixture up as you eat it. Flavors include ube, buko, mango, and even cheese. Yes, cheese. The texture is softer, almost slushy. It's street food at its finest. Simple, cheap, and genuinely delicious. The coconut one is basically frozen coconut milk because that's literally what it is. What makes ice candy special is how democratic it is. Almost anyone can make it at home. You mix up your base, pour it into plastic bags, tie them off, and freeze. Kids in the Philippines grow up making and selling these in their neighborhoods as their first little business. It's entrepreneurship in a plastic bag. So there you have it. 12 types of popsicles, from the ones you ate as a kid to the ones charging you $6 at a farmer's market. And the crazy thing is, this list could have been even longer. There are mochi pops in Japan, kulfi sticks in South Asia, ice lollies in the UK that have their own whole culture. The popsicle is one of those rare foods that every country, every culture, every corner of the world has some version of. And they're all a little different. Different shapes, different textures, different flavor philosophies, but they all solve the same problem. It's hot outside and you need something frozen on a stick. But honestly, anything frozen on a stick is a good time. If I missed a type, and I'm sure I did, drop it in the comments. I want to know what your country or your neighborhood has that didn't make this list. And if you liked this, hit subscribe. I do stuff like this every week. See you in the next one.